Supreme Court has consistently, in the long line of cases, insisted on this strict and inelastic approach to electoral laws. The law has laid out systematic duties, okay, and new is that a witness deposition that is not filed along with the petition within the 21 days allowed for filing cannot be filed in the proceedings. It held thus, if there was an evidence which was fundamental to the termination of the petition, that evidence ought to have been placed willingly before the tribunal within the time limits specified by the Electoral Act or any other act. That evidence ought to be regarded as the spinal cord of the petition. Even if it has been withheld by any person, there are several ways to go about placing same before the tribunal. The Evidence Act is very clear on this. The petitioner ought to have restored that freedom. The firm position of the Supreme Court, as stated in Ukiamini and followed by this court in Oba and Vincent Tuka, is that by the combined provisions of Section 85.5 of the 1999 Constitution, Section 137 of the Electoral Act 2022, and paragraph 4, 5, and 6 of and 6 and 14.2 of the first statement of the Act, every written statement on oath of the witness which a party intends to forward must be filed along with the petition within the time limited by Section 285.5 of the Constitution of Federal Government of Nigeria as amended, and Section 132 subsection 7 of the Electoral Act 2022. Once the time limited for filing of the contents of the petition cannot be added to or amended in any manner or under any guise. Any written statement of the witness filed outside that 21 days limitation will amount to surreptitious amendment of the petition and agree of paragraph 14, first schedule to the Electoral Act 2022. This is irrespective of whether the witnesses to be called are ordinary or expert witnesses and whether they are willing or field witnesses. Since then, this has been the consistent position to go back and followed by this court. Indeed, in Okuru versus Today, this court spent this position by allowing brother Bola Yusuf just stated that support. From the records, PW3 and PW4 was summoned by the tribunal and presented as expert witnesses. The question is whether this would have more entitled the appellant to file their statements of oath outside the time set for filing or they replied to the respondent's reply in answer to the petition and the government handling field that whether an expert witness or not, the witness remains guilty. Though the provider of the 3 Rule 3 sub-1 of the Federal High Court, Rule 9 made applicable to an electoral election petition by paragraph 57 of the Electoral Act provides that the statements on oath of witnesses requiring subpoena from the court need not be filed at the commencement of the suit. The witnesses require subpoena or summons shall, at the instance of the party, calling them to serve the civil from A before the filing of the statement of that witness. The application of that rule is with regard to and subject to the provisions of the Electoral Act, not independent of the Act. Paragraph 54 reads, subject to the express provisions of this Act, the practice and procedure of the tribunal or the court in relation to an election petition shall be as nearly as possible similar to the practice and procedure of the Federal High Court in the exercise of the civil jurisdiction, and the civil procedure rules shall apply with slight modifications as may be necessary to render them applicable having regard to the provisions of this Act, as if the petition and the respondent were respective to the plaintiff and the defendant in an ordinary fashion. The provisions of the Electoral Act being substantive law shall override any rule of court which is contrary to property. The subsidiary legislature must conform with the principal law, the NNPC and Afakaway Limited. The proviso order 3.31 of the Federal High Court Rule 2009 cannot override or affect or whittle down the absolute and mandated provisions of Section 285 sub 5 of the Constitution of the Federal Government of Nigeria at 1999 as amended, which stipulates that an election shall be filed within 21 declaration of the clause of elections, and paragraphs 4, sub 1, 5, and 14, 1 and 2, the first schedule to the Electoral Act, which stipulate the content of a petition. It is therefore clear that in law, the provisions of Order 3, Rule 3.1 of the Federal High Court Rule 2009 cannot provide a platform for filing and using this statement on oath not filed within the time limit set for the presentation of petitions, and which time cannot be extended for any reason under any tax. The focus of our decision in Ogba and Vincent Supra was the injustice in allowing a piece of evidence not covered by the pleadings were presented to the court when the opposing party would have no opportunity to appeal. It is my humble view that the position of the law, as can be gleaned from the section 855 of the Constitution, paragraph 4, 14.2, and 16.1 of the First Schedule to the Electoral Act, is that the petitioner cannot be allowed to file and use documents or witness statements or file outside the time set for filing petition, and to which the respondent will have no opportunity to react. To do so will amount to creating an avenue which a petitioner can use to explain to the respondent. That is the stand of the Supreme Court, OK and Mimico, number 1, followed by this court, Oba and again, in Ararumi and another, Anik and others, which I read, wrote a big document, they are stated as follows. The law, therefore, is that the deposition of a witness must accompany the petition at the time of filing the petition. In other words, the written statement on oath of an intended witness must be filed along with the petition. Thus, any written deposition of a witness not filed along with the petition will not be countenanced by the court or tribunal. Therefore, means that the written deposition filed by the witness not listed in the petition nor his deposition from body cannot be countenanced by the court or tribunal after the expiration of the time prescribed for the filing of the petition. I think that is what the tribunal decided in this case, in line with the decision in Oba and Vincent. The combined effect of paragraph 4.5, Roman 1 and 2, 14.1 and 3 of the First Schedule to the Electoral Act is that no witness can testify in chief before the tribunal if he has not deposed a written statement of oath, which must necessarily have been filed along with the From the foregoing judicial decisions, it is clear that in the election petition litigation, whether the witnesses which a party intends to call are ordinary or expired witnesses, and whether they are willing or supreme witnesses, their witness deposition must be filed along with petition before such witnesses will be competent to testify before the tribunal court. It is instructive to observe that one of the leading senior counsel for the petitioner in this petition, so Onyechi Calvin, SAL, was the lead counsel to the second responder from Arab and another was where he successfully challenged the competence of a supreme witness, Ahmad Ibn Abu Kidabutu, on the same ground that the witness statement on oath of the same witness was filed on 8/7/2019. Long after the time limited for the filing of the petition. Therefore, the petitioners in this case were well aware of the settled legal position on supreme witnesses information petitions, stated by the Supreme Court and by this court. Yet they embarked on subpoenaing PW3, PW4, PW5, PW6, PW7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 13. 10 out of their 13 witnesses whose witness statements on oath were not corroborated along with the petition. The petitioners have tried to argue that the same witnesses are witnesses of this court. With respect, this argument is conceived because the subpoena in respect of those witnesses were issued upon the request of the petitioners. The applications for the issuance of the subpoenas were duly signed filed at the registry of this court by the Internal Council, and the required fees paid, including filing fees and service fees as assessed, were duly paid by them before this court approved and issued subpoenas. Therefore, those witnesses are the petition witnesses and not witnesses of this court. Indeed, the procedure for calling of witnesses by the court is by sole summons as stipulated in paragraph 42, that one of the first schedule of the or court be summoned a witness as a witness appears in the tribunal or court that have been concerned. Clear from the provisions of that paragraph that is a person summoned by the court for not exercise of its powers under paragraph 41, that is a witness of the court, and not a person appearing at the request of the party in the case. In the instant case, Peter Petrie, who was subpoenaed at the request of the petitioners, is a staff of Channels Television who tendered exhibits PVA and PVA4, two flash drives containing third annual consultative meeting with leaders of political parties in October 2022, an interview with Mr. Festus Okoye, National Annual Commissioner, held on 12 March 2023, respectively. Peter Petrie, a professor of mathematics, who was engaged before the election by the petitioners, and whom the petitioners presented as the Supreme expert witness, stated under cross-examination by the first respondent that he concluded his report on the 19th of March 2023 before the petition was filed. PW5 is the staff of Arise Television, who also tendered exhibit PCG2, a flash drive showing the annual chairman delivering an address at the Chatham House, London, UK, preparation for the 2023 election in Nigeria. PW6 is the staff of African Independent Television AIT, who tendered exhibit PCH1, a flash drive of the program Democracy Day, anchored on 22nd November 2022, while in the chairman was shown giving a brief on the preparation for the 2023 election. PW7, who claimed to be a cloud engineer and actually working with Amazon Web Services Incorporated, tendered exhibits PCJ3A to F, which assists reports of Amazon Web Services AWS health dashboard, which she said she downloaded from the Amazon website. Under cross-examination, however, she not only admitted that she is a member of the second petition. Please, get as a serious. This is a serious matter. She not only admitted that she is a member of the second petitioner, the Labour Party, but she had contested election as a candidate for the second petitioner for House of Representatives election, conducted along with the president election of 25th February 2023. These said exhibits are, I have argumented judgment. The respondent's essential argument is that since the Supreme witnesses and their witness statements on oath are incompetent, the petitioner tendered through those witnesses cannot be countenanced by the court. Paragraph 41(3) of the first schedule to the electoral appointment, oral examination of 45D of the first schedule of the electoral appointment. The petitioners admitted through them, which form part of their evidence, are inadmissible and liable to the extent of the record. In the case of Buhari and INEC, the petitioners have also argued that since the parties have agreed during the hearing session, the petitioners properly certified by INEC will not be invited to, and the said documents were tendered from the bar pursuant to the hearing order of this court of 23rd May 2023. The parties are bound by the order of the court to the same as not be appealed against by the second and third respondents. However, this contention of the petitioner does not represent the position of the law. It is said that a court is not permitted in any event to admit an act on it is said that a court permitted to act in any event to admit an act on legally inadmissible evidence, even if such evidence has been admitted by agreement of the parties or under order of the court in the course of hearing. Once such evidence is legally inadmissible, the court must reject it when giving its final judgment, even if that will amount to overruling itself by so doing. Ishamu Africa away from this. Indeed, even in the case of Sadi Mukwe relied upon by the petitioners, this was a paragraph 20 restated the position of the law that even when cases of evidence had been improper to receiving evidence, trial court as well as appellate court have the power to expunge it from the record and decide the case only admissible evidence. On the objection of the respondent to the admissibility of the documents tendered as specified reports by the petitioners, which were admitted as PCD1, PCD3, PCE1, PCE4, PCJ2, PCJ3A to F, and PCJ1, the respondent's contention is that they are caught up by the provisions of Section 83, Subsection 3 of the Evidence Act 2011, having been contrived for the purpose of this petition. It is certain law that has provided in Section 83, Subsection 3 of the Evidence Act 2011 and pronounced upon in several decisions of the appellate court that judgment which is made by a party interested in the pending or anticipated proceeding involving a dispute as to any fact which the document can establish is inadmissible in evidence. Thus, in Lagwaja and Ajimobi, where the Supreme Court, particularly JSC held as well as the court, in respect of what is referred as a person, I shall refer to the cases of Nigeria Social Insurance Trust versus Cliffco, Nigeria Limited. As regards the phrase, the person interested, I agree with the respondent that the phrase has been examined in the case of Ivan versus Nom, while a person not interested in the outcome of an action has been described as a person who has no temptation to depart from the truth, one side or the other. A person not swayed by personal interest, but completely detached, judicial, impartial, independent. In other words, it contemplates that the person must be detached, independent, and non-participant, and really not interested which way in the context of the case was. Normally, a person who is performing an act in official capacity cannot be a person interested under Section 91, which is known as I think the phrase, the person interested, ever also has been quite definitely put in the case of Halton and Halton. To meet a person who has pecuniary or other material interest in the result of the proceeding, a person whose interest is affected by the result of the proceeding and therefore would have no temptation to pervert the truth to serve his personal private ends. It does not mean an interest in the sense of intellectual observation or an interest purely due to sympathy. It means an interest in the legal sense, which imposes something to gain or loss. PTC and Omugalu, when considering and determine who is a person interested under Section 91(3) of the Evidence and Philanthropy Health Tax. By the provision of Section 91(3) Evidence Act, a person interested is a person who has a pecuniary or other material interest and is affected by the law of the proceeding, and therefore will have no temptation to pervert the truth, to serve his personal private ends. In fact, it is most recent in its most recent decision in Oyetola and Ananda versus Annex, the Supreme Court, by urging JSC, stated this position in the following words. The other evidence adduced by the appellant to prove their case is the expert, as on admission, is a member of the second appellant and had been a special assistant to the first appellant and was engaged by the appellant to establish the invalidity of the results and for ECA for the 744 polling units. It is testified further that I made the report as directed by the petitioners and that I am part of those who wrote the petition. By his own testimony, he established that he was not an independent expert, as he had an interest in the subject of analysis, carried out the analysis from the conclusion that the results were invalid. Justified to support the contemplated petition. It was an analysis from an and not from a question. Such a report is not the product of an independent, impartial, detached educational analysis. He is clearly a person with a disposition or temptation to depart from the truth. The listing of the expert analysis report in the petition among the documents we relied on to prove the petition to show it was made in anticipation of the calculation to be filed. The report having been made by PW1 as a person interested in the subject matter of the petition. When the petition was anticipated to establish that the election result was invalid is not admissible evidence. The version 683 Evidence Act 2011 as amended. Close of court. In the instant case, PWO, who claimed to be an expert, was contracted by the petitioners before the election to carry out data analysis on the result of the presidential election held on 26th of February 2023. He even tendered his letter of engagement by second petitioners dated 20th February 2023, which was admitted in case of 2. According to him, he produced his initial report on 19th March 2023. His report was made a day before this petition was filed on 20th March 2023. All first of the report is the PCP1, PCP3 was prepared in anticipation of this petition. As for PW7, who also claimed to be an expert witness, she admitted that she was not only a member of the second petitioner, but had contested the House of Representatives election under the platform of the second petitioner, which election was conducted the same day with the presidential election on 26th of February 2023. She also admitted that the report she presented in the PCA APF are public information posted by Amazon, which she downloaded from the Amazon website, and that the open access information she downloaded in her report cannot be amended by her. This shows that PW7 was clearly not the maker of the said documents. As for PW8, who claimed to be a cybersecurity expert, he stated under cross-examination by the first respondent that he was engaged by the second petitioner as an expert on 10th March 2023, and that he produced a preliminary report on 17th and 18th of March 2023, and final report, PK1, at the end of May 2023, while this proceeding was pending. There is therefore evidence from the above that PW4, PW7, and PW8 are personally interested in the outcome of this proceeding. The reports produced by PW4 and PW8 verify statements made by persons interested in PW7. She is admitted to be an interested party, having been is further underscored by the fact that she admitted under close examination that she was attending throughout the proceedings prior to her evidence. By section 83, sub 3 of the evidence, the report tendered by those witnesses which form part of their evidence are inadmissible. Exhibit PCD 1, PCD 3, PCD 1, PCD 4, PCD 2, PCH, PCJ1, PCJ2, PCJ3, and F, PCJ4, P1, and PCJ through the incompetent figure 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are hereby exempt from the protocol. The second aspect of the respondent's objection is on the ground of improper certificate of authentication. 1. The IS report for Adamawa State on the ground that no certificate of authentication of those computer-generated documents was filed in compliance with Section 84 of the Evidence of Government. Exhibit PCD1, PCD6, referred to by the petitioners in response to the petition are ILS certificates of compliance for Bayelsa, Benue, Ekiti, Niger, and River States. Adamawa State is not included in those exhibits. Exhibit PCC1, PCC28, which include Adamawa State are actually diverse reports and their certificates of compliance. That of Adamawa is PCC21. In short, no certificate of compliance was produced by the first respondent in respect of EDP1, EDP1. The blind iris report exhibits ECA series. However, since the documents were stated to have been downloaded from ANIC's IRIS portal and were certified by ANIC as true copies of what they have on their IRIS portal, the documents qualify as public documents within the meaning of Section 102 of the Evidence Act 2011, and the certification by ANIC authenticates those documents. Therefore, the provision of Section 84 of the Evidence Act is not applicable in this case. This is the position of the law as espoused by the Supreme Court in the case of Kubo and Peace, where the Appeals Court held that the computers from internet-generated documents printed from the website of public institution is a public document, only a copy of such document which is duly certified in compliance with Section 100 of the Evidence Act 2011. That has cited the Supreme Court para atrás APC support. Exhibits PBT1 to PBT21 having been downloaded from ANIC report and duly certified by ANIC and clearly admissible. As for the fourth respondent's objection to Exhibit PCG2, the flash drive tendered by PW5, Stafford, Arise TV, it is clear that the safe witness had in paragraph 612 of his statement on court not only stated that he participated in all stages of the recording, production, and packaging of the flash drive, but he had certified the process of the production as required by Section 84 of the Evidence Act. On the fourth respondent's objection to the admissibility of Exhibit H2, on the ground that the Exhibit H2 was obtained by the petitioner from the register of discourse and not from the custodian of the original copy. We have examined it, which is the European Union Election Observation Mission Nigeria 2023 final report, as rightly observed by the first respondent. The photocopy of the document is certified by the Secretary of the Presidential Election Petition Court and not any officer of the European Union Election Observation Mission, which is the custodian of the original copy of the document. By Section 141 of the Evidence Act 2011, the secondary evidence of any public document is only admissible in evidence if it has been certified by a public officer having custody of the original copy of the document, who by that section may give a copy of said to any person who has the right to inspect, together with a certificate written at the foot of such copy that it is a true copy of such document or part of it as the case may be. Under subsection 2 of that section, the public officer is going to certify said by subscribing his name, official title, and date, and why he is authorized to use the seal with his seal. Clearly, the registrar of this court, who is not the custodian of the original copy of his H2, cannot validly certify that document under Section 104(1) of the Evidence Act. The commissary and Arebosola Manuel Mana, where JSC stated that the whole essence of the course insisted on the scrupulous adherence to the certification requirements of public documents which states their authenticity. These are original copies. Since Exhibit H2 has not been validly certified, it is still admissible in evidence. Accordingly, Exhibit H2 stands in response to the third aspect of the petitioner's objection to the petitioner's document is on the ground that the petitioners failed to plead specific facts to cover the documents objected to. The said documents objected to by the respondent IAC. So many are listed that get the judgment in the I have carefully examined the petitioner's pleadings and the documents objected to by the respondents. The petitioners have specifically applied in paragraph 101 of the petition that they will rely on all the first respondents' electoral and all other necessary documents used for the conduct of the presidential election, including the documents which they listed as items A to CCC, that paragraph. However, election petitions are sui generis, and it is certain that for an affirming on an election petition to be competent, material facts relating to complaints made therein of the pleaded. Delbore, Ahmed, Piazza, and Ochi. In the latter case of PDK and ANIC, the Supreme Court was categorical on this mandatory requirement or specificity in affirmance of election petitions when the court held as follows. On whether the affected paragraphs were rightly struck out, I have read the affected paragraphs and found that they relate allegation to non-voting, several polling points, obstruction of election, non-conclusion of election, tampering of ballot papers, falsification of election results, widespread disruption, irregularities and malpractice without providing particulars, or the polling units where the alleged malpractice took place. The lower court was therefore right when it held as follows. Paragraphs above in my view are too generic, vague, and lacking in any particulars, as they are not tied specifically to any particular polling unit or any particular number of people who are alleged that